Welcome back to SWPL Gaming. My name's Joel Reed, and today we've got the RG353V. They really need to do something about these names, man. It's such a tongue twister saying it sometimes. But yeah, we got the RG353V today. I also want to give a big thank you to Anbernic for sending me this review unit to do the unboxing on. So thanks for that. This device comes in two variants. We've got the RG353V, which is what I have right here. And we also have, which I don't have with me at the moment, but there also is the RG353S. The difference between the two is the V version allows you to dual boot. So not only do you have the benefit of using Linux, you also can boot into Android. The S version, which is slightly cheaper, only allows you to boot into the Linux side of things. So yeah, you have that. Both of these devices come with various color options. The VS, which is the single OS, comes in transparent black and gray. The RG353V, the dual OS one, that comes with a variation of 4 different colors here. So you've got, as well as transparent black and gray, you also got the white and the transparent purple, which as you can see here looks pretty cool. I will leave a link in the description below, so not only will you be able to get yourself one, but you can have a look at this product in greater detail. I guess it's a good time to delve in and see what's inside this box. So you got your USB Type-C cable, you've got the games that it comes with, you got your screen wipes, handy, you got your screen protector, and that is glass, and you got a very well thought out manual. Now for the exciting part. Let's look at this device. So you got your plastic covering as you always get. You've also got the polystyrene cover. And listen, I ain't seen this color yet. Yo, this color looks nice. That transparent black, it looks good. The display, the way that looks as well, really nice. Even the borders look decent on this device. That's pretty good. The button layout's different, I ain't gonna lie. It feels comfortable though. Like, I'm just having a little tap with the L&R triggers right here. They feel all right. It's looking good so far. Yeah, I mean, like, at first glance, when I was looking at this device with the analog sticks being placed the way that they were, it looked as if it was going to be uncomfortable, but actually holding it now, it doesn't actually appear to feel as uncomfortable as I thought it would be. It's actually pretty comfortable. You got the D-pad right there. That's well placed as always, and it feels good. You got your A, your B, your X and your Y buttons, and they don't feel too squishy. Your function, your start, your select, and back to the analog sticks, they're actually well placed. I'm really surprised. I think Anbernic did a decent job with this one, and the size of it as well, it's all right. So let's see what's around this thing. So we'll start off with the bottom here. Bear with me a second, let me just zoom in just a little bit real quick. Right, so at the bottom here, you've got your OTG or your USB port right there. Then moving around the side, you've got your TF card slots, one for the firmware, which is right here, the second one for the SD cards. Here you got your power button, and over here you've got your reset button. Along the top, you've got another USB Type-C port, your HDMI out, and your jack in for your headphones. Then just at the back down here, the L and R triggers. Do you know what? This is going to be something that I'm probably going to need time to get used to. They did feel okay. They felt fine to me. They felt comfortable, so I'll enjoy playing with that. And then on this side, finally, you've got your volume rocker. The layout isn't bad. I'm quite liking that. Apologies for the camera. It's just getting out of focus every now and again. But aesthetically, it looks pleasing. It feels pretty comfortable. I like where they went with this. So far it looks and it feels comfortable. It feels decent, well built for a plastic device as well. Talking of plastics, the plastic looks great and it doesn't feel cheap. Everything is placed where you need it to be, easy to reach. Analog's easy to reach. The L&R triggers differently placed. Some would prefer stacked, but we'll see where this goes. As you can see here, my finger can literally reach. I can use middle part of my finger for the outer triggers, and then the tips of my fingers for the inner triggers. It works, and I think it's going to be fine if I'm being honest. It looks alright to me. Alright, let's do a size comparison. First up, we're going to use my old Japanese Game Boy Pocket right here. As you can see, it's slightly wider than the Game Boy Pocket. That's what I can see anyway. In terms of length, fairly equal. I think the Game Boy Pocket is just a little bit longer in length. Up next, we're going to use my beloved Game Boy Color. Gosh, this thing is a beauty. In length, it's a lot shorter than the Game Boy Color, which is, you know, it is what it is. Next up, good old reliable DMG01 right here, all in white. It's significantly smaller than the DMG, as you can see here. Yeah, it's just outdone by the size. And lastly, its older relative, the 351V, good old reliable. Please go easy on me about the buttons in the comments. People rip me apart for that, why I chose that butter combination. Look, it is what it is. Alright, so I'm just going to check to see if this thing is pocketable. So we'll start off with these casual tracksuit bottoms. Decent, that works, snug. A little bit of movement there as well. Right, something a bit more tight now. These are just jeans, let's see. Goes in easy enough, I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a bit on the tight side. I wouldn't recommend it, but it can be done in it. Just make sure you got some slack on them things. And then formal trousers, swag. Doable as well, provided they're not too tight, but it's in there, it works. Yeah. So this is me booting out for the first time in the Linux firmware. It takes a little while at first, so let me just fast forward and skip through this bit. And here we are. We're running the Linux side of it, and the viewing angles are decent. Just pop the volume up in case there's any sound, but there isn't any here on the intro screen. Systems, PSP, moving on. Vertical arcades, that's pretty cool. MAME, Final Burn, WonderSwan Color, Capcom 1, 2, and 3, MSX, PC Engine, NES, Game Boy, Super Nintendo, N64, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, Open Bore. You got your ports there. Oh, Master System, Mega Drive, Game Gear, Dreamcast, Neo Geo, Neo Geo Pocket, PS1, and back to PSP. So all the necessary stuff that you would expect to see with a Linux front end. Now we're gonna power on the Android side. This also takes a little bit of time. I wouldn't say minutes, but it definitely takes some seconds. So I'm just gonna blitz through this and get right into it. So I've always been a big fan of gaming on Android devices, be it phone or tablet. So no doubt I'm going to enjoy the experience on this device. It's pretty responsive, as you can see what I'm doing here with the screen. The colors seem nice, bright and vibrant, so that's always good. The display looks really nice. So on first glance, the display and the features and the functionality is exactly the same as what you would see on the RG353P. But with this version, they've made some definite changes right here. As you can see there is a specific designated button for Anbernic. So we'll just go and press that. What that's going to do is load up the Anbernic front end, so to speak. And that in itself is very, very cool. It's reminiscent of what Retro did with their handheld system. But I have no doubt that this is going to be pretty decent. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I hate the way, oh, here we go. So you've got all your systems at the bottom, but yes, it's going to take a little while to settle everything in. It's got to do some extractions through RetroArch because that is what is being used in the back end. So that's going to happen. As you can see, it's extracting here, but let's just blitz through all that. Okay, we back. So yeah, it's a designated Anbernic front end on here, which is great. You've got all the systems that you would have expected to have seen on the Linux side. They're also on here as well. And it's pretty responsive. Whether it be the D-pad or if I'm doing it by hand and touch, the screen's really good on here. Alright, so this option here, it allows you to go into various systems depending on the age of the system. A very cool feature that I quite like. The navigation bar houses some awesome features, one being that you can map your buttons, especially with the Android games if you like Android gaming, but especially the button orientation. On this far right over here, if I click that button, it's flipped it to Xbox mode, which allows the console to respond as if you're using an Xbox controller on an Xbox console. I flip the navigation bar down again and that flips it to Nintendo Switch mode, which is also cool, and that will make the buttons respond of that of a Nintendo console as well. So that's really cool. But I've done enough talking right now. Let's get into some gameplay. So I'm going to kick it straight off with some Dreamcast emulation right here. I'm not going to go too much in depth with the gameplay like that because this is my first look, so I'm due to do some videos on different emulators as we go forward. But here we got some Dreamcast gameplay. There's no tweaks involved in this. Let's get it in. Jumping straight into some Outrun on the PSP system right here. This is PPSSPP. Let's see how we go. Little bit juddery, but again, there are no tweaks here. Just straight out of the box gameplay. Old school Resident Evil Deadly Silence on the Nintendo DS. This runs really smoothly, really well. The OG Game Boy is almost like this is what this system is designed to play, it being vertical and all. I think it's safe to say that all systems below PSP and Dreamcast are going to run relatively smoothly and really well. Capcom vs SNK on the PS1. Sorry about the glare, I'm just getting a bit too much into it, but this runs really smoothly. Again, I don't see there being much of an issue or any issue at all running PS1 with this particular system. I'm actually really enjoying Open Ball on the Android. It's an Android app, of course. As you can see here, I've mapped the buttons. If I just pull the notification bar down, select the button config key, this allows me to toggle and move around the keys where I want them to be. And you can do this for multiple Android games as well. And you can just keep adding them and selecting them as you go. That's really cool. So yeah, Anbernic's latest device, the 353V. A lot of thought went into this. You can see that Anbernic have been trying to listen to the people a lot, giving them what they want, especially with this front end that they've put on there specifically for Anbernic on Android. And you can see that they've been doing a lot more to work with developers. I'm going to enjoy having a good mess around and a tinker with it, maybe add some tweaks here and there. So guys, stay tuned. I hope you liked the video. Take care and stay safe. Peace.